afternoon, Masha. How are you?
Hi, Jocelyn. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing so well, and I am just so grateful to you that you could be here for Confidence Conversations.
I'm very grateful that you asked me to because it's a very, very hot topic, I think, for
Yeah,
me and for a lot of women.
absolutely. And we have a lot to get into today, but first, I want to start off just understanding what confidence means to you.
It means being comfortable where you are. And I'm trying not to use the word not, but being projecting your true energy, shining your true self
Mhm.
without focusing on flaws or something that you may think is wrong with you and letting other people enjoy your true essence.
I think that's a great way to explain it because oftentimes, especially as women, right, we're focusing on the things that are wrong instead of appreciating the wonder and the beauty and just all the opportunity that is before us. And so when we're able to really appreciate who we are, what we have, and, for what it is, that is really a place and a peaceful state of being.
I agree.
So I want to hear about your journey because you are a powerhouse of a woman. You've got Mesolyft, you are the founder of Visage Sculpture, but I know that you have a story where you really worked your way to be where you are today. So I love to hear all about that.
Well, thank you. Thanks again for having me. And hopefully people will learn from it and won't repeat my mistakes.
Yeah.
Um, the two businesses that you described, Visage Sculpture is the medical spa. I'm a physician assistant. I do Botox and fillers, but I do it creatively. I like for my patients to look natural and just enhance their natural beauty. I do a lot of non-surgical nose jobs and chins and jaws. So it's a creative outlet for me. And I feel like I help people to be more confident. The business is going to be 12 years old this year, August 1st. And I've started it pretty much when I was pregnant with my first baby. He's going to be 12 in June. And I was several months pregnant when I decided to start a business. Yeah, it
What
was
a
interesting.
time, right? It's like two babies, right?
Babies, yeah, two babies, and it was always my dream, and pregnancy didn't stop me. I felt like that I can conquer the world. My first open house was August 1st. It was just like 5 people, and I had my own first Botox open house 12 years ago. And the second business is Mesolyft skincare, which is really a beauty device and skincare in one. So it's very unique. It's patented technology. Has a little microneedling roller to deliver ingredients faster. Super unique, fun to use, very effective. And that product came out 6 years ago.
Mhm.
So I'm still working on it. I'm bringing the new SKUs, actually, some of it this month, some of it this summer. I'm so excited. So the company is
Yeah.
growing. The company is growing really well. And I feel so blessed that I can express myself in this way.
Yeah, it's such an amazing opportunity, and I love just seeing you thrive and do your thing. And I think one thing that's so important that you pointed out is that you did it while you were pregnant, while you're bringing life into this world, you're also, birthing this business. And I
Yeah.
think that the reason that that's so important to me is because oftentimes we see women stop or fall short of their dreams because of this very important role of being a mother.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you to speak to how you use that to empower and invigorate you rather than holding you back.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me mention something. I had a fantastic support system. So if it's a single mother, yeah, that's going to
It's
be
hard.
probably challenging. I had a great husband at that time who stepped up. He was working and he was spending time with the kids. And my parents also lived with us, so they helped with kids a lot. And I did work a lot. To be honest with you, in the retrospect, I think I worked a little too much having little kids.
Yeah.
In fact, my advice would be to enjoy your kids more if you have an opportunity. You can have it all. You can start a business. You can be a mom and enjoy family, but there has to be a balance. And I feel like I was struggling with that one a little bit, the first 3 years for sure. But don't let anything ever stop you. And, having your relative support you emotionally and say, yeah, you can do it, let us take care of you so you can take care of your business. That's very important. I feel like I was very lucky with the support system.
Yeah, oftentimes our communities have the power to make or break us. And it's really
Yeah.
wonderful to hear that you had such a great support system. I know that's one of the reasons why it's so crucial and imperative to surround yourselves with like-minded people and people that are speaking light and positivity into your dreams, because there's this phrase like sticks and stones may break my bones, but words don't hurt. But words have the power to actually kill dreams. And so it's important that you have people around you to not only support you, but
Yeah.
when you're having conversations, those conversations are filling your cup up rather than
Yeah.
pouring out of it.
Yeah. But there were some people who didn't have faith in me, and I've had a lot of sort of random people who questioned, well, who's gonna come to you? Who are you?
Right.
Who's gonna come to physician assistant? Like, what makes you think you will be successful? I've had plenty of people like that. I'm fortunate that I have part of my DNA is to, prove the world. If someone challenges me, like it stimulates me. It kind of it's a game, So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
watch me, watch me.
Exactly. I love
Yeah.
that because it's just one of those things, right? Where there's like some people who are just fueled by that. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to be the first. And you definitely did a great thing with Mesolyft. I know that you have an incredible story about how you went from having this idea from using another product and then
Yeah.
birthing this amazing tool that you've created yourself. So I'd love to hear about your process and really just your tenacity along the way.
Wow. Well, thank you. Well, it's a fun story, at least for me. And
Yeah,
yeah, and exactly when I gave birth to my first child, David, I developed some melasma. So it's like dark pigmentation on the skin. It's very common for women. It's a hormonal change of the skin. And a friend of mine who's a esthetician, she gave me a dermal roller. So it's like a roller with needles, real needles. So you have to roll and then you have to apply a serum. You create those little channels, you apply a serum, it goes in deeper. So within 2 weeks, I got rid of my pigmentation. But while I was doing this, I really didn't like the process. I thought it was not user friendly. I didn't like having these needles around, washing them, caring for them. It was painful, very unpleasant. It was several steps, very inconvenient. So I thought, why didn't someone combine microneedling with the serum in one tool? I was so surprised when I did the research. I paid a patent lawyer to do the search. I was so surprised that it hasn't been done. It's so simple, such a
hmm
simple idea. Simple on paper. When I started executing it, there was a lot of challenges because shrinking that microneedling wheel into the Barbie size, little tiny thing, that was a challenge. I had to work with a medical plan that works on medical devices, and they do micro molding. And nobody would want to work with me because, who wants to work with like this one person? It needs to be a serious organization that can back it up with finances. They brushed me off quite a bit. I couldn't find the plant who would make it. I went to conferences. I showed my idea to dozens of people. I'm not joking, dozens. I asked around. So probably for 2 years, I couldn't find someone to make it. And I knocked on every single door, different states. Again, I paid money to go to a conference of micro molders from all over the country. And all of them unanimously said, give up, it's not gonna work. Nobody's gonna make tiny needles for you.
hmm
It's impossible. Again, when I hear this word, it turns me on. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, let me show you.
exactly.
And when I found the plant, I was shocked. It was actually in Massachusetts. Of course, they didn't want to work with
Amazing.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, wow, it was a gift. They didn't want to work with me. I think I I was stalking them for about 3.5 months. And I mean, you would think I would give up, right? So like I would call and I would leave messages and emails and no reply. And then I left a message and I was like, I'm gonna call every day until you answer my message. Yes, he called.
I love that.
And I
And
think
I
he,
love your
yeah,
story just about how you stuck with it. You know,
I
every
see.
no gets us closer to that yes, and nothing
Yeah,
is possible unless we put it in our minds that it is
yeah.
impossible. You
I
know,
know it's possible. I knew it was possible. It's a brilliant idea. I thought it was a brilliant idea. I thought it would be very
yeah,
useful. I thought it would work. And you know, when he gave me that meeting, I think he gave it to me just for the check mark, just so I would stop calling. You know,
right.
I didn't sleep all night. I was getting ready with my speech. And when I arrived there, you know, with like my heart beating and my eyes popping, there was a bunch of engineers. All of them are very, very smart and glasses, very quiet guys, you know, nerdy. And I'm just like, you can do this and that. You know, I was like performing, you know.
Yeah.
It worked. They made it. They made it. I mean, it took a long time and many tries, and you know, but it worked out. And you know, it seems simple on paper, but it was difficult to execute.
Yeah, and it's amazing that you were able to accomplish that. And just looking over time,
Yeah,
right? After 2 years, you would think maybe this isn't the right thing, but when you have that voice right in your head that's like, no, this is the idea, and you knew it because you were the demographic that we use it. You tried
yeah,
something like this before. You saw the gap in the market. You'd
yeah.
done your research, and it's like now we just need to execute. And it's funny because I bet the person who was like, we should put cameras on cell phones was probably brushed off the same way. And then here we are. There's no cell phone without a camera.
Absolutely. You just, you know, don't listen to people. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your
Yeah.
passion, to your gut. You know. I will tell you a little secret though. I think it will be
Yeah.
interesting to, I mean, obviously, The Secret is very, very popular. A lot of people watch that movie, you know, sort of that wishful thinking and imagining
Yeah.
things.
Ask, believe, receive.
Yes, but the thing is, even before I watched it, I intuitively was doing something. So I remember pretending that I have this product. So I was pretending that I roll it in front of the mirror, you know,
Yeah.
when when the reality seemed so far away and nobody wanted to work with me. I'm like, oh, what a great product.
Yeah. And it really is you calling it into existence
Yeah.
and just staying with it. And there's something to be said, right, about inspired action because you already had this thought in your head that this isn't just a dream, this is a reality in the making. And so you're taking guided and very pointed steps to make it happen. It's not like, oh, it'd be great if this happened one day. It's like, no, this is going to happen. And who's going to be lucky enough to help me out?
Right, right. There
Well,
was a lot of work behind it. You know, now in the
yeah.
retrospect, I can say it was fun, but of course, some things were stressful because I stressed myself out. I put a deadline to it, and I'm like, okay, it needs to be done now, right?
Mhm. And it does really stress us out when we give ourselves these deadlines, but a blessing in the wrong season is a curse. And
Right.
so everything kind of happens when it's supposed to. So I love that story and just being able to see your journey and knowing that, there is one day where it happens and things kind of kick off, but success is never something, lasting success is never something that happens overnight. I want to take a couple steps back and talk about your life as a physician assistant because I know at the time, especially when you're in school, there weren't very many women in that field. So I want to know what it was like to work in a very male dominated medical field as a woman PA, kind of making your way.
I was so fortunate. I really didn't feel
Yeah.
any male domination. I felt like part of a wonderful team.
Yeah.
In the class, I graduated in 2006. So yeah, profession is relatively fresh. It's gaining popularity now, but back then, a few years ago, probably not as much. We had a healthy mix of girls and guys in the class.
Good.
And then when I graduated, my first job was in a hospital in Boston Medical Center in plastic surgery. So yeah, of course, most of the surgeons were male surgeons. Dr. Miller. She was, I think, the only woman surgeon, but I really didn't feel any injustice in the relationship or energetically. We truly were a team. And my boss, he was a chief of plastic surgery department, Dr. Antoine, a very handsome African-American man. After each surgery, he would personally thank everyone who was present in the room. That touched me and affected me so much. He was truly a leader. He truly showed how it should be done. I never felt male dominance ever.
I love that.
I'm so lucky.
Yeah, and I want to kind of touch on what you said with Dr. Anton, just of him thanking all of you, because there's something to be said, right, about gratitude and
Yes.
gratitude in leadership, because I
Yeah.
think that a lot of times we have this kind of notion that to be confident and to be a leader, you have to be aggressive and like kind of have this dominant energy. And a lot of times it's just being able to appreciate the people around you and understand how to navigate in those situations and make your teams feel supported.
He was just amazing. I learned so much from him, both as a human and as a physician. And to be honest with you, I always thank people at the end of the day in the office too. I understand it's not on a much smaller scale, but I think it's so important to feel that you're part of something bigger, that
Yeah.
you are appreciated. I've been on both ends, and I always thank everyone who ever helped me on every step of my way. And he had this sort of like father figure approach. He always I don't know, he made things not stressful. Like I've seen a lot of surgeons at work and, they'll throw instruments and swear and like the energy is like all over the place.
Hostile and
He would play a nice music, he would, chat with nurses. It was just beautiful person inside out. And it was just a pleasure to work with him. And he really inspired me, as a leader. I think if I could have some of his qualities, I would love to.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it kind of speaks to this idea that we create our own environments and our own
Yeah.
energies. And so things don't have to be stressful. We make them stressful. And so you're right. When we think about surgery, we think about, Grey's Anatomy and all of the shows that are like hyper dramatized, that where there's things going on and, everyone's rushing and bustling. But it really is an environment. I've had the pleasure of viewing a couple of surgeries where you really can display nice music and be in that environment. And that translates outside of that room as well, just in life. We can facilitate the energy and the environments that we want in our lives. And it's kind of like this thoughts become things kind of approach where it's going to be hard. If I say it's going to be hard, if I say I can do this,
100%.
or it's easy.
100%. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree with you. You just do you do the same thing when you wake up? Do you set the intention? Do you try to do that?
I do. And I've been getting better and better at it. And it's really changed my life in a way that I cannot describe.
I feel you. I feel
Yeah.
we're on the same frequency, and I think if you wake up and you think, oh, it's gonna be a long day. Oh, I'm not looking forward to.
Yeah.
You're gonna get what you
Yeah.
projecting. But if you're gonna set the intention to be the best human you can be, and connect with people and do the best you can, oh my God, that will be a different day.
Yeah, it's a completely different day. And I take it even because, people are probably listening and like, yeah, but then life happens throughout the day. And it definitely does. And I'm not saying I'm perfect when people are driving like lunatics on the road. And then I have to go back and I'm also a part of the traffic. I'm like, where are people going at 3 p.m.? I'm like, well, where are you going at 3 p.m.? And then and then it becomes funny
Yeah.
almost, right? Or even like just taking a step back and saying, it's all right. Or like when you catch yourself going back into that energy of being like rigid or just feeling frustrated, saying like, this is doable, this is manageable, which sounds super corny, but when you get into the mindset and the practice of actually doing it, life becomes a lot less stressful and just honestly easy.
I feel it and I practice it, and I really try not to like look at my schedule and be like, oh my God, how am I gonna make it? It's like
Yeah.
somehow magically things fall into their places and God helps you on the way, Do I lose it
Yeah.
sometimes? Of course I do, I get irritated, and then
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so grateful for everything.
I know I did that. So I had a moment actually yesterday where I had like a million client deliverables due actually this morning. And I'm just like, I need a break. My mind can't do this right now. But my brain is telling me like, we're stressed out. We can't go to sleep. We have lots of work. How are you going to sleep right now? And I'm like, well, the one thing I can't do right now is work because my mind isn't up to it and it's not a sound mind and it's not a positive mind. So we're going to go to sleep. And that's something that I learned very, very recently because
Nice.
before I would have just, tried to push through and whatever I would have produced would have been
Yeah.
awful. Let's be real.
Where
Um,
did where did you learn that?
Reading, meditating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's so nice.
Yeah. So I want to know from you,
Yeah.
I know that you work in the beauty industry,
Yeah.
but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I want to know how you help your clients from the inside out because when they sit in your chair, it's more than just an aesthetic. It's really helping them cultivate a sense of confidence in the women that they are. And so I would love to hear about your process and how you help them.
Oh, sure. It's fun subject. Um, I'm very happy to report that people are becoming more confident. Something is shifting, something is changing. I used to have more women who would come sit in my chair and start being negative and mean to themselves. It's one thing to say, I would love to fix this little divot, or like I would love to do a touch up of the wrinkles, but they use the word hate, like I hate this. I hate like, okay,
Yeah.
let's not use words like that.
Hmm.
Okay, like you look great, but let's just tweak it, So I'm happy to say there's more and more women who are comfortable in their skin and more confident. I see a change in the last few years. I don't know, maybe I attract women like that. Who knows? Do I attract them? Did they change? Or, I don't know. But what I tell people, if it's a new client, I always say, what do you want me to focus on? What bothers you? Sometimes they would come in and say, well, what would you do? I'm like, I wouldn't do anything. You're perfect.
Yeah.
They get very surprised. I'm like, well, focus on what bothers you, or what you think bothers you. Like I may think one thing and you can think something else. And they just relax right away. I'm not here to criticize. I'm here to help. I'm very
Hmm.
conservative. So I try to really listen. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Sometimes someone would come in and they'll obsess about something. And I'm like, what are they talking about? So
Yeah.
beautiful, like I hate it. I hate it. Like, okay, I can fix it for you. Even though I don't think it's bad, I will help you feel better, So I try to make it sort of healthy emotionally.
Yeah.
And then, there's a group of people who just come in for maintenance. So, my approach to beauty is that preserve what God gave you. Like, I don't like to invent a bicycle, just maintain a
Yeah.
healthy, refreshed, rested look. That's my goal. I prefer to look this way. I don't like to look injected. It's just maintenance. So that's my approach. And I'm very fortunate that most of the people listen to me. I do attract people who want to look normal, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I wouldn't be able to, if I don't agree with something, I will not do that. I cannot give someone big lips or duck lips or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think it's so important just in your field, right, to
Yeah.
do things that you are passionate about
Yeah.
and to do it in a way that feels right for you. Because I think oftentimes, especially being an entrepreneur, right, that means you're turning away business in
I
some
do.
instances, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where we have to take this moment and think about, paycheck over passion, paycheck over purpose. And I think that that's where a lot of the lessons come into because in those moments we learn a lot more about ourselves. And I know that your practice is thriving now, but oftentimes in the early stages of entrepreneurship, that's when those decisions become a lot more crucial, because you're like, am I going to do this against what I'm thinking, or am I going to stay true to purpose? So I love that you do work that you truly believe in, and it shows, because you literally look like Barbie. I can't.
Ah, it's so sweet. I never
Yeah.
think that. I never think that, but
Oh my
it's important
gosh.
to look natural. Thank you for the compliment.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I think I believe in karma. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And sometimes someone would come in and I see they want to spend money. Like people want to throw money at me, and I'm like, no, I can't give you what you want. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't. It's like it's an abuse, it's abuse of power or knowledge or I don't know what. Um, and you know what? Karma is a very interesting thing. I feel in other areas of life, when people can take advantage of me, they don't. Again, I'm very fortunate, I
Hmm.
really feel like you get what you give. And money isn't everything. Money balances itself. You may lose this client, but they're going to tell two other people, oh my God, she's so honest. She will never take advantage of you. And that's why I'm so busy. People know that I will not take advantage of them. I will not
Yeah.
do something that I shouldn't,
Yeah, there's something to be said with acting with integrity. And
Yes.
you hit on something else, which is
Yeah.
about money mindset. And there's an ebb and a flow to it. So we can't hoard it or hold on to it. And I know that you didn't say this, I'm not trying to put words into your mouth, but it
No,
kind of
no,
speaks to the fact that
I agree.
we have to be, we can't hoard it. We can't, think, oh, I'm never going to get it if I don't take this opportunity right now. We have to work with integrity,
Yeah.
because that's going to become our business, and that's going to become our energy, that's going to become our vibration, and that's the people that you attract to you too. You're like, are these confident women attracted to me? Yeah, they are, because we attract people on the same frequencies as us. So one of
I
the things
agree.
that I always say is like, if you are ever questioning how you're doing, just look at the people and the circumstances around you, and that's kind of like a good reflection of what's on the inside.
What a great statement. I completely second that.
Yeah. So I want to know your thoughts. I know in the age of social media, there's so much comparison going on. And I know that especially for, I think, Generation Z, right, that's growing up with social media, they're born into this age of comparison where they're looking at all of the celebrities who look this way and look that way. And there's so much pressure to fit into a certain aesthetic or a certain mold. And I know that you have such a peace of mind and a presence. I would love to hear your advice to the Gen Z who may be listening and worried about their looks and not happy with them.
Oh, um, I would have to listen to each person's story in person, because it may vary. Sometimes people are confident, but they just conscious about like a certain angle of the nose. And I feel like it's reasonable, and I play with them. All right. But when someone shows me the picture of someone on the internet and says, I want to look like that, I usually say, first of all, what you see is not true. There are filters, there's Photoshop. So don't believe everything you see, first of all. Second of all, find your true self, find your true beauty, be unique. I think there's something so
Yeah.
special about looking different. Every time I look at a new face, I always ask, what are your origins? Like what's in your DNA? Like I like to learn about different features. Being unique is very special. I think everybody's this cookie cutter, lips and cheeks, it makes you look like you have no personality, and then you're like, nobody can tell your age anymore. Are you in your 20s or 40s? It's like very vague. Like, isn't it great to look special and don't look like
Yeah.
anyone else? So I try to cultivate it and tell them, try to find your uniqueness, your true beauty, and be proud of it, and show it off.
Yeah, there's beauty in diversity. And, the funny thing is, usually the flaws that we see in ourselves are like the most beautiful or attractive things to other
Yeah.
people. So
Yeah,
just
like
learning to
freckles.
embrace
I always
ourselves.
comment
Yeah.
on it, like, wow, you have such beautiful freckles. Like, what do you mean beautiful freckles? I'm like, it's so endearing. Like, it's
Yeah.
so pretty. It's so different.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would love to hear just your three things that you do or
Mm.
3 pieces of advice to stay confident on a daily basis?
Daily basis. Oh, well, I'll tell what works for me. I
Yeah.
think things and smells create certain energy for me. So if you wake up and you're like in a bad mood, or you're bloated, or you're about to get your period or something, you're not
Yeah.
in the mood, okay? Some things can really elevate your vibration. Well, other than exercise, you can raise your vibration. For me, perfume, makeup, jewelry, clothes, certain colors, certain things, they make me feel a certain way. So, like for example, this morning, I didn't feel as rested as I could have. So I'm like, should I wear scrubs just for comfort? And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna make sure I'm as pretty as I can possibly be today.
Yeah.
Like do my hair, do my makeup, put a dress on, even if I didn't feel like it. It changes your energy. It changes
It
your
does.
day. For me, you get compliments. You project a different story than you didn't get enough sleep and you're bloated.
Yeah, and it's even projecting that story to yourself because then you meet
Yeah,
the frequency that you're dressing at. And I love what you said about smells too, because
yeah.
that's huge for me. Before actually any confidence conversation, I spray my perfume again. And I'm like, and sometimes I have back-to-back calls and I'm like, I don't care, I have to spray the perfume again.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Everybody has their little
Yeah.
triggers, or but I, I feel the same. Smells really do a lot for me. Another thing is trying to find more positive. So again, we all have bad days, both how we look and how we feel. But
Mhm.
you have to, gratitude is everything on every single level. You have to wake up with gratitude. You have to go to bed with gratitude. You have to find good things in your day, even when you think you're having a bad day. You have to be grateful that you're alive and healthy, and that you look as good as you do. Who knows, maybe in 2 years it will be different. So gratitude is huge. If you can't feel love, they say gratitude is the next emotion next to love. So
And
um
gratitude kind of makes you feel love
yeah,
because it makes you feel loved,
yeah,
right? You realize
yes,
all of the stuff around you, like, oh my God, I can like breathe. Like, let's start there because I know some people are probably like, well, I don't feel grateful for anything. Like, life is hard right now, and I get that. Like, life can get you down. But starting with the fact that you have air in your lungs and that you're able to, walk around or talk to someone, or if you're viewing this, you can listen to confidence conversations.
yeah,
You can
yes,
grateful for the small things in life, and then you start getting to the bigger things that you do and the people in your lives. And like, I've become such a like corny person almost, just because like I'll get so excited about like the smallest things.
that's
But
that's that's what
yeah.
happiness is. That's
Yeah.
life. That life is so beautiful, so much to be grateful for. And the third thing, I'm on the fence about the third thing, but I'll mention, recently I've discovered that a circle of like-minded women can
Mhm.
do huge things for you. So joining groups either on Facebook or in person if you can, um, you go into yoga class, meditation, connecting with women, I think is so powerful. Supporting each other, um, helping each other feel your best about how you look and feel. Like if someone is complaining of like a little extra weight, just saying, you're beautiful. Beauty comes in all shapes and sizes. You're a beautiful woman. Shapely, all right, rather than overweight. That is so powerful. I recently discovered it. I've never been a part of any groups. I've tried a all women retreat. I can't describe how it makes me feel to have a support from women.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that it's so invaluable to have a community to lift you up. Sometimes we're not feeling the greatest and it's hard to find those words, but to have a group that's going to be positive no matter what, or just be able to speak life into you when you feel like you don't have any is beautiful.
yeah, yeah. So I would say that will be number 3 today, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the things change all the time. But
yeah.
Masha, I know that you have a community of followers on Instagram and you also have websites. So where do people find you? How can they access you and get a hold of your services?
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share that information. I do my best to make posts valuable, both content-wise and humor-wise. So most of my patients say it's fun to read and follow, and they actually learn something. The one for the medical spa, it's at Visage. Visage is face for French, Visage, sculptures and sculpture of David. And then for the skincare product, it's Mesolyft, Mesolyft, skincare altogether. The websites are mesolyft.com and visagesculpture.com. And you can contact me if you have any questions, if you want more support, or if you want to talk more about confidence or anything else. I can answer any questions on any topic.
Well, I love it. And thank you so much again, Masha, for joining me for Confidence Conversations.
Thank you, Jocelyn, for having me. I'm so honored that you picked me out of all the people. The topic really is dear to me. So thank you for letting me speak.
Of course. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.